What's going on? It's the RapNerd, and as I usually do when I'm in a car, I dump a lot of thoughts. And this one is something that I've been thinking about for the past month, but I wanted to wait until Cool, which was, the week prior, and Alien Romulus, which was last week, dropped. And 2024, man, might be the best year of horror that I have ever experienced in my life, of my 35 years of living. Now, before you get your torches and the pitchforks, especially from the enthusiasts and the purists, I want y'all to know that I myself am also a purist and an enthusiast of horror. Literally my favorite genre. There's this meme that goes around like September when spooky season starts, and it's like the Volturi. And I believe the Twilight series, I believe it's either Eclipse or it's New Moon, but it's when you're introduced to them. It was New Moon, as a matter of fact. And they're like standing above people just kind of looking bougie, as they're picking their food. And somebody put how horror fans look at everyone else for just watching horror movies in October. That's me. You know what I mean? So this, by no means saying this or even speculating or just putting it out there is any type of disrespect to the genre of horror, because I love it. I'm not looking past any of the Genesis years. I'm not looking past any of the monumental years where movies dropped and changed the genre. Not looking past any of that, So just hear me out. We all know when it comes to what's the best and what isn't, it's all about quality versus quantity, or quality over quantity. So here we have a year that has done both, honestly. Before 2024, it was 2022. I thought that was the best year of horror, but this year has just been crazy, and we're not even done yet. We haven't even gotten into spooky season yet. It's August, so we have even more months to round out the year, and we're already at a great space. Like, honestly, I believe this year has released at least 10 plus great horror films theatrically, and that's really the biggest thing. Is kind of like we've gotten top tier quality that has released in theaters, and we all know this. When you compare streaming and theatrical releases are the ones that matter. Yes, there have been a ton in the past years that have released great films straight to VOD, or they have been streaming originals, but theatrical is what people remember and what people really hold to a high standard. And with that being said, we literally have 10 plus. I would even go as far as to say we've had 15 great theatrical released horror films, which is unprecedented. Usually, damn, this sun is killing me. You gotta bear with me with this light. So usually we would only have about 5. And how I got here in the first place is when I was thinking about it, I went back and did like a quick research. I didn't do a whole bunch of research, so if I misstep somewhere, you can excuse that. But the fact still remains, though, there has not been a year that I've seen in the genre that has had 15 great horror films for the entire year theatrically, honestly. And of course, streaming wasn't a thing prior to the 2000s, 2010s, if you will, so it's a whole different thing. But we did have straight to TV films which took place in streaming, right? And again, this is not counting Genesis year, so I'm one of those people that I don't really believe that just because a monumental film dropped a certain year that makes that year the best. I don't believe that, because again, it's about quality over quantity. But when you have a year like 2024 and even 2022 that gives you both of them, it's really hard to debate that. So going in about 2024, right, these have been magnificent. We've had Long Legs, Late Night with the Devil, and these are all movies that I consider to be great or very good that you can pick from. The First Omen, Maxine, In a Violent Nature, Cuckoo, Alien Romulus, Trap, A Quiet Place Day One, Immaculate, Frogman, I Saw the TV Glow, Oddity, and Lisa Frankenstein. Now, I feel like you could pick 10 from that set of films and place them in the category of great, and I feel like that's something that we have not seen in horror. You have 15 films that are great in the genre space, and again, it's August. We have a slew of other movies releasing for the remainder of the year that we know about, and some that we don't know about. Like, for instance, Speak No Evil is coming soon, and that movie's been marketed to hell. I thought it was going to be not that good of a film, but reactions have come out and said that it's spectacular. So that's one. We have 2 films releasing this weekend. You know, Blink Twice, which I'm not sure if it's 100% horror, but it's leaning that way. And then we have something I think called a Special Darling or something like that. I literally just saw it yesterday. It looks like another like serial killer, like just crazy slash fest of a film. Next month we have something called, I think is it Azrael, starring Samara Weaving, that looks like it could be promising. We have, of course, Smile 2 in October, and you know, one of the biggest joints that's dropping in December is Nosferatu. Another one in November called, I think, Heretic, which looks promising. And A24 is coming back in December with a movie called Y2K that looks like it's a horror film. So these are all films that we know about, but there's no telling what else could drop this year. Especially with the run that Shudder's been on. Like, Shudder has been killing it, releasing banger after banger. So we could end up having 20 great horror theatrical releases for the year of 2024. So I have to give the crown to the best year for horror that I've ever experienced to this year. It's been nothing but just inspiration and great experiences watching all of these movies. And again, there were even some movies that released earlier this year that you could place in that great category if you've seen them. There's a joint called Humane that released earlier this year that I don't know how many people saw, and it was theatrical release, but it just hit Shudder recently, and I watched it and I was like, it's actually pretty damn good. I liked it. There are bound to be even more like that either hit streaming or hit theatrical. And I said earlier that, you know, theatrical is the big dog of filmmaking, but there are some instances where there are streaming phenomenon movies. Like in 2022, one of the big ones that year that a lot of people loved was Fresh. That was on Hulu. A lot of people love that film. So why am I saying all this? It's just a way to celebrate horror movies of the modern day time, because, you know, again, a lot of purists that I've seen in the community don't really like to give props to the newer stuff. And I get it, you know, the 70s, the 80s were huge moments in horror that a lot of the fans hold dearly. I've seen a lot of tweets and just interactions on social media saying that there aren't any, you know, good modern day movies, and I just have to disagree. And that's why I'm really here saying that, because you can't ignore how great the quality of horror has been. And I personally feel like even if you don't like a movie, you can still recognize how great something is. There are a lot of movies that I'm not really a huge fan of, whether it be the genre or it just wasn't my cup of tea, that I can recognize the greatness and the quality of it. So I'm just putting that out there for other fans to feel the same way, because this genre is doing nothing but growing and getting better and better over time, and there is a claim to be made for 2024. Let me know in the comments, what is your best experienced year of horror? Give me those films that you love, what they did for you, where you saw them, and all of that. Because again, this is not me making a proclamation. This is just me putting my thoughts out there. So if you don't agree, it's fine. But I just want to start the conversation for what the best year in horror is amongst the community, because at the end of the day, I'm here to celebrate cinema. So I love horror, I love films, and that's why I got this channel. So if you like this kind of content, make sure to like, subscribe, and if you already are subscribed, thank you. Excuse this light. Until next time, peace. RapNerd Productions, no capping, that's word to mommy.